All right, it's time to start scouring our week 6 waiver wire. Kind of look back at week 5, see who did well, see who is in position to help you have the best fantasy football input, to see where you have to put your fab, to see who we have to go get to ultimately kind of win us a championship. First guy we're talking about here is going to be Tyrone Tracy, and hear me out. I know Devin Singletary is going to be coming back from injury, so Tyrone Tracy isn't necessarily a league winner as long as Devin Singletary is back. But you saw what happened when Devin Singletary was able to miss some type of game last week. Tyrone Tracy stepped in brilliantly, was able to really provide for your team. And if God forbid something does happen to Devin Singletary, I think having Tyrone Tracy on your team, getting those 18 carries, is going to do you some well. Just look at what he did last week: 18 carries, 129 yards, 0 touchdowns against the Seahawks defense. Even with Singletary returning, Tracy should hold some value, let alone, like I said, God forbid something happens to him. I mean, Devin Singletary could be gone. And what happens? We know Tyrone Tracy is going to be getting the bulk of the workload. I mean, as a rookie, getting almost 20 carries in a game, that is fantasy football gold. And I'm telling you, you've got to add this guy, put some fab down, get him on your team. I think you'll be glad that you did. The next guy we have to be adding here, let's talk about Darnell Mooney. And I can't believe he's not added in more leagues. Guys, get off of all what you think about Darnell Mooney and the Bears. The dude is absolutely phenomenal, and he's kind of tagging up here with Kirk Cousins to provide some good numbers. Just look at what he did last week against the Bucks: 9 receptions, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, he's only rostered in 48% of leagues. He has a 22% target share. That is absolutely crazy. I know you have somebody like Drake London in there. We've got Kyle Pitts. We've got Bijan Robinson. But sometimes Kirk Cousins is locking in on Darnell Mooney. He's somebody you need to put all the fab as possible to get into your lineups. He had a massive amount of fantasy production last week, and he's going to continue to do so week in and week out. You've got to get this guy onto your lineups, guys. Next guy we're talking about here for waivers is going to be Jalen Tolbert, right? This is a wide receiver. We saw him having a little bit ample amount of opportunities without Brandon Cooks. He stepped in as that number 2 wide receiver, and he filled in admirably on the opposite side of CeeDee Lamb. I know a lot of people are kind of locking down CeeDee. They're focused on CeeDee. That leaves Jalen Tolbert open. He's able to capitalize on that. Just look at what he did last week against the Steelers: 7 receptions, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Like I said, stepping into that number 2 wide receiver role, he ended up with a 24% target share. That is absolutely phenomenal for a wide receiver that's kind of coming into his own. There was some rumors before the season started that he's going to have more opportunities, right? Jalen Tolbert's going to be able to get in there and do something because he's a special player, and we saw that last week. So go ahead and put some fab out there. Go grab yourself some Jalen Tolbert. With Brandon Cooks being a little bit older, he could be missing some more time. Jalen Tolbert going in and stepping into that number 2 wide receiver role could help you win some weeks. Move right along here at the next guy. We're talking about Rashad Bateman, somebody kind of stepping into his own with Lamar Jackson. Now he's not the end-all be-all type of guy. They've still got Zay Flowers there. Who knows what's happening with Mark Andrews? Isaiah Likely stepping up, but they need that other receiving option, and that is clearly Rashad Bateman. Let's look at what he did last week against the Bengals defense. 4 receptions, 58 yards, and a touchdown. He's second on the team with 19% target share, right? I mean, he's right behind Zay Flowers. So he's doing really well. That he's targeting him more than he's targeting the tight end position at this moment. So if you want a wide receiver that's out there in a good offense, a decent team, even though their record may not say that they're an elite team, I think that having Lamar Jackson as your quarterback at any given point could just take the top off of a defense, score you a plethora of points. Rashad Bateman, I think he's a good way to go. Put some fab on Rashad Bateman. Could be a good add for your waiver wire. Next guy we're talking about here is going to be Tank Bigsby. Now, this is a running back that he was probably the lowest rated running back last year. Coming in this year, he's kind of taken over more of a role and now almost taken a lead role, should we say, over from Travis Etienne, and he is freaking just going crazy right now, right? Let's just look at last week going against the Colts defense: 13 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Bigsby was featured in this game over Travis Etienne, right? So the rumors were starting to go, like, is Tank Bigsby going to be more involved? Last season, they tried to split some more carries and not have Travis Etienne on the field as much. And they were saying Tank Bigsby was going to, kind of work into that workload. Well, that didn't happen last year. Tank just wasn't ready, I guess. This season, he's having the opportunities, and man, he is crushing. Granted, Travis Etienne only had 6 carries. He had 6 receptions, but he had only 6 carries, right? Tank Bigsby outcarried him greatly, and he produced, especially with 2 touchdowns as well. I like myself some Tank Bigsby. He could be a league winner for you, whether or not Travis Etienne gets injured. That is crazy. I'd be putting a crap ton of fab on both Tank Bigsby and Darnell Mooney. Get these guys on your team. They could completely help you hoist that trophy up at the end of the season because you made a smart move like a Tank Bigsby. So moving right along here, the next guy on waivers we have to talk about, it's going to be Zach Ertz. I've kind of said this multiple times on the channel. Zach Ertz, he's pretty consistent, especially with his targets. And if he could just come down with these targets, he could easily be a tight end one for you week in and week out. Look what he did last week against the Browns defense, 2 receptions, 10 yards, but 0 touchdowns. You know, he had 8 targets against the Browns. He's tied for the most targets on the team, right, with Terry McLaurin. So he's getting the targets. He's just not being able to come down with the reception. Zach Ertz is involved in this offense. And as Jaden Daniels continues to mature and continues to be the quarterback we all know that he can be, I think Zach Ertz is going to be even better. Ben Sinnott doesn't even look like he is going to be a pea in the pod at this point. He's giving no competition for touches. It's all Zach Ertz, and I think he could be phenomenal. Go put some fab on him. If you're in need of a tight end, I think he could be really good for you. The last guy we're going to go over here in our top 7 targets for waiver wires for week 6, I'm going to say Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones is somebody who didn't start out very hot. Let's just call a spade, but he's starting to pick it up as late. And we saw what he was doing the last time he was healthy, leading the Giants to the playoffs. He's doing that, right? And he was able to have a phenomenal year or phenomenal week last week without his top guy, Malik Neighbors. Look what he did last week against the Seahawks defense, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. What was a 68% completion percentage? You know, he smashed his best performance of the season, like I said, without Malik Neighbors, right? He was over there. He was at Darius Slayton was his main go-to guy, right? Even Theo Johnson got in the reception category. You add Malik Neighbors back and he's clicking on all cylinders, guys. If you are in need of a quarterback, if you had injuries, if you had whatever's going on, get yourself some Daniel Jones. I'm telling you, I think he's securing himself into this offense. There were some rumors on, is he going to get benched? Is he going to be here or not? Daniel Jones can make a huge kind of caveat for your team if he can consistently start putting up these numbers for you. I mean, this dude can put up some nice numbers. He has a good rushing floor as well. As long as he continues to do that and all these wide receivers continue to develop, the offense is running over Brian Dable. They're really putting things together. Yo, this could be great. Daniel Jones could be a good fantasy football quarterback for you. Don't laugh too hard at that. It is a true combination, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Which one of these waiver wire targets are you most looking forward to going to get? And are there other waiver wire targets like a Ty Chandler or somebody that you guys are really looking forward to going to get? Let me know in the comments. I like to go back and forth. I know we're rocking out multiple videos each and every week to help you best set the best lineup possible to ultimately win a championship. These waiver wire videos are going to help you do just that, to keep adding players to your team. That way you can stay relevant in fantasy football. It is a long season, guys. Long season. Be sure to be checking out these videos to make sure you are on top of your game. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.